Welcome back to your channel. My name is Brad and Supercoach Pro. Today's video we're doing a round 4 Afl Supercoach Preview. Last week we scored 2,197, moved up in the ranks, and now we're at 4,221. I have done a couple trades there, been a little bit sneaky. I just want to have a look at some players that people are bringing in and bringing out and just share my thoughts on them before getting stuck into vice captain, captain options and all the rest of that. So, straight from the top, if you're ever looking at who is trading out what, you just go into players and it'll actually bring it all up here. So trading out Rochelle, they're probably bringing him in for Nick Martin, which they are. So if you ever do want to look what the pack is doing, don't necessarily follow them. Baldwin's interesting. You probably hold him if he actually gets named this week, but if he doesn't, you're probably swapping him for Nick Martin. Marshall, you probably are only trading him out for English if you've got the money for that. Dusty, you've probably got to get rid of him, to be honest. There's just no timeline for him. Grundy, don't get rid of Grundy. This is the stupidest thing I've seen so far. I wouldn't even do it for English at this point. Draper scored like 23 on the weekend, so I understand that you're probably grabbing Wits at that price or thereabouts if you've got a spare 50k. Stevens, I can understand why people would move him to, but who are you really moving to? Are you getting Nick Martin? That's the only way you'd probably do that move. Max Gawn, this kills me. Just looking at this frustrates me. You don't get rid of Max Gawn now. The time to do it was last week, or to not start him at all. And we were pretty clear that he was 50-50 ruck with Jackson, so that's the only reason I didn't start him. I thought that was a little bit logical, and that's the only reason I started Grundy, because it wasn't going to be 50-50 with anyone. We know Mason Cox is useless. So Mitch Mcgovern, he's got a hammy, so definitely get rid of him if you still have him. It even says there he won't be around 7 or around 8. That's when he's back. And Raynar is just a spud. So, yep, traded in. Let's have a look at this real quick. Nick Martin, that's understandable. He's going to make a lot of money if you don't know. If you haven't brought him in already, he's going to make 96,000 if he gets a 93 against Adelaide, which I don't think he will, but you just never know. He scored 114 round 1 or whatever it was. So Timmy English, people jumping on this train. So yeah, fair enough, but just it depends who you're going for, really. So it would have been interesting when a big score comes out like 152. Everyone just jumps on. I'm surprised people haven't jumped on Angus Brayshaw if that's the case, to be honest. Not that you'd ever do that in this lifetime. Tom Green, 7%. I wouldn't be chasing this guy. He sort of has Jack Bowie from last year, Gold Coast defender who had a hot start. Everyone jumped on him, including me, and then he burnt me, did a hamstring, and then didn't score that well anyway. So I don't trust Leon Cameron, nor do I trust the role of Tom Green. He's been used in the ruck. Josh Kelly played full forward against Richmond. So I just wouldn't do it until after the buys if you really wanted to, but I just can't see why you'd go culling early rookies like maybe Jared Berry or Clydewell or someone like that for a green. I think it's too soon. Bruce, you don't bring in too early. He's got injury history. You look at Sam Skinner, rolled his ankle, now he's not playing on Thursday night. So same thing for Bruce. He's up against two big boys in Meek and Darcy, and you want to bring him in. Imagine if he gets a knee to the ribs from one of those blokes and he misses 6 weeks. That would be just pretty funny. Not for Bruce, but it'd be just funny for people going early. I wouldn't do it. I don't recommend it, even if you were doing it for R2. I just think it's too risky. I think R3, if he gets named next week, then you do it, but just don't bring him in now. I think it's a stupid move, to be honest. Bowie, I think you've missed that train. I think you've missed any train that has already had a price rise, especially rookies or players that have already gone 50k. You just no point chasing that tail. You've lost that. And if you didn't start Cornelio and bring him in, and you're those 3,000 coaches, I don't know why you play. I'm a bit harsh. I don't know tonight what it is. Maybe it's because I did afternoon shift. But anyway, Doherty, I can see good reason to bring him in. I was really considering him. This week, I've sort of changed my mind who I'm bringing in for Crisp and Ryan. So you probably think I'm a little bit hypocritical, talking about not trading out primos, but you'll see why, and for good reason anyway. George Hewitt, I think, is a keeper. I don't think it's too late for this move at 453. You've seen the role where Walsh and Chera and Cripps have all been the same side and still scored 111, so I think that's a good move. And Cripps, I don't think it's too late either. They don't need exceptions to the rule, to be honest. and Galanty. Don't pick him up. I think Tex Walker's coming in this week. I just feel like Tom Green is definitely going to decrease. I'd rather Cripps if I had to. Anyway, I think I made that pretty clear. Get stuck into the team. Ooh, that's my draft. You want to have a look at my draft real quick? Dawson, Dale, Maynard, May, Blakey, Oliver, Wines, Kelly, Webber, Greenwood, Kennedy, Anderson, Nick Nat, Jackson, Cameron, Gunston, King, Gresham. Not a bad draft. So, average team, Jacob, you probably do have an average team. We're going to smash you this weekend. We've got Andrews, Warner, Ninkervis and Meek on bench. Anyway, that's not what you had to look for. I actually get into my trades. Sorry, I got carried away. I don't think I've shown you guys my draft, but this is my classic, obviously. So the two guys I brought in for Crisp, we'll talk about them. So Tommy Stewart, the reason why I brought him in is he doesn't rely on kickouts to score well. He's averaging 103. He's averaged pretty well over the last couple of seasons now. He's good at intercept marks. He takes a few kickouts here and there, but he's not like Jakey Lloyd, where he relies on kickouts for half his score. He plays Brisbane this week, which I'm not expecting him to go massive. He plays probably on Charlie Cameron, you'd think he did last time they played, so a little bit scary that he might drop a stinker, but I just think throughout the season he'll score really well, and he hasn't even played at Cardinia Park till now, so a lot of home games coming, and he scores pretty well there, so that's what I'm going with, and that is for Jack Crisp, who's in 36% of sides. Stewart's in 19, so I just want to get off the Crisp train. I haven't used too many trades. I'm down to 31, that's fine. And Dawson's the other guy for Luke Ryan. Luke Ryan, you're probably thinking, why are you trading a guy that scored 156 the week before? Well, I watched probably 7 out of 9 games weekly, and I've watched a free amount of games, and Chapman and Jordan Clark are taking points away from him, whether it be kickouts, whether it be switching the play to whichever side of the ground that the opposition is not at. And they're just not cherry picking down the back line anymore. They're being a little bit more direct and a little bit more aggressive without playing too much slow play. And West Coast, they didn't score very many behinds for Ryan to up his points, but I don't want to rely on that. And Tom Stewart doesn't. He has like the same amount of kickouts as Ryan, but still averages 103 because he's intercept marking. So I'm happy to cull Ryan, and if he finishes top 6 defender, well, I've blown a trade, but he also has injury history, so I'm happy that I don't have to go over that move anymore, and I can sleep at night because Jordan Dawson, regardless of his 98 and 99, his time on ground each week has slowly increased. I think he was up to like 91 or 92% on the weekend. He might even be midfield eligible because he is playing wing and half back. So his fixture opens up a little bit. I just think he's the right age. He's 25 next month. 98, 99 isn't fantastic, but it's just better than what Ryan's producing. I think he's top 6 defender. I think even JD's got him. So, it gives me a little bit of confidence when you got some top dogs in the game that actually have these players too. It makes you a little bit more confident because if they're going down, you're going down with them in some regard. I'm fielding Hinge this week over McCartan. I think that's a safe bet. He's taken some kickouts now. He's just looking really confident. And I actually watched the whole Adelaide and Port Adelaide game. I actually rewatched it to watch Dawson's role. I watched 2 hours worth of that game just to bring him in my side. That's how much I actually look into players. And same with Tom Stewart. I didn't really have to watch too much tape to know what he does. But I think they're just safe as houses, and I just don't want to be on that yin-yang of Luke Ryan scoring 150 one week and then 70 next week, because just head-to-head matchups in the leagues too is just going to cost you. I'd rather consistency over the journey. As for vice-captain and captain, it's already been set. I don't really know if I have a loophole this week. And I'm not sure if O'Connor comes in for that game, but I want to do an early loophole in case, because sometimes you sort of, if you're out somewhere and you forget to do a VC on an early game, it makes it hard to go, which captain can I go through on a later game, and this just works out well because if I do somehow not check my phone and realise on Saturday I got a loop, I can quickly go, all right, I can take his VC on the Friday night and bank it. Just not sure about his ankle, how it holds up, and so he should be okay, but just be wary that he might not pop out another 198 or whatever it was. It might be his highest score for the year. And the taggers are back, so anyone against the Giants, maybe Brayshaw cops a tag this week. Richmond certainly don't tag, and we got no midfield, as I've said in previous videos. And there's no disrespect to the midfield we have now, it's just not the same as it would be with Prestia and Martin there. So that's what I'm looking like. Look, if you have any questions, do leave them in the comments below. I do answer them. Just don't be going early on any players, including Bruce, and don't be swapping out Max Gorn for any player. I probably wouldn't even do it for English at this point. I think you missed the boat there. As for Nick Martin, you probably only bring him in for Durden, who's not playing this weekend due to COVID protocols, or you get Rochelle to make you 100 and something K. I think it'd be about 130K you make off that play, and Nick Martin's a better fieldable option than Rochelle. So it's a win-win in that regard. I certainly wouldn't be culling anyone else but Rochelle, Stevens, or Durden if I had Durden. That is it, guys. I think I rambled too long. I'll give you my footy tips just before I go too. I actually think Port finally win a game. I think the Cats at home will be too strong this time. I think Sydney win that, obviously. I'm actually tipping Collingwood to beat West Coast. I've lost all faith in Richmond this weekend. I think Dogs get up for sure. They'll just beat us in centre clearances. We're going to see too much of the ball down back, so that's not good. Probably good for Jaden Short scoring, but not good for us as a Tiger supporter. Fremantle, whoa, that's a good one. No wonder they're priced so evenly. I'm probably just tipping Fremantle because they're home ground. Essendon and Adelaide will be a close one too. I think I'll tip Essendon to win their first game too. And as for Hawthorn and St Kilda, that's a tricky one because Hawthorn actually playing really well. Probably going to go St Kilda. They gave us a bath, so I think I'll do it to the Hawthorn side. It's a bit young. And Gold Coast and Carlton. I'm actually going to go Gold Coast this week. I reckon might give them a bit of a reality check this week, but either way, do not bother me who wins that game. Zach Butters is playing, so that's interesting to know. Thought he might have been out those ribs that Sam Pepper ran into him with. That is the end of the video, guys. If you enjoyed it, leave a thumbs up. And look, I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers, so the next 5 people, give me a sub. And hopefully I'll see you in a round review Sunday night or Monday. Sorry for the long video. I ranted a little bit too much, but hopefully that's a little bit of insight that you guys needed. Have a good weekend, and I'll catch you on the review.